All of your muscles are connected. The hamstrings connect to the calves, which connect down into the lower calves, which connect to the Achilles, which isn't a muscle, it's a tendon, but you know what I mean. All of those things are connected and really affect what the outcome of your split line looks like. What is up, artists and movers? It's me, Gaylyn Lareese, and welcome back to my channel where we are taking our love for dance to the next level. And I know, y'all, I know it's been a minute. I know it's been a while since I have done a dance tips video, especially one where I go really in depth. So I was like, okay, let's get these splits together. I know the girls and guys have flexibility goals for the new year, so I figured why not make this video on how to improve your splits fast. Sometimes when you're working on your splits and trying to improve the lines, you can kind of hit this plateau where like you're not really seeing any progress. And a lot of times that is because you probably need to shift and start doing other stretches that will target different muscles than the ones that you're already targeting. And that can help you finally get to the goal, which is the final split. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys 5 different stretches that you can do to target different muscles in your hips, around your thighs, all that kind of stuff to help improve the lines of your splits. But before we jump into this video, please be sure to give this video a like. It really helps me with the algorithm and helps more dancers see this content. And if you really enjoy maybe some dance business videos, dance stretch videos, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I have so many different playlists on my channel, all related to dance and dance content. So once you have done all of that, then let's jump into this video. The first stretch you should probably be doing more of if you're trying to improve your splits fast is that you should probably be doing more lunges. Now, lunges are a really common stretch that runners and dancers and anyone who is really active does, but when you're trying to really focus on your splits, you want to make sure that you're pressing your weight in the right area of that lunge. And that's because lunges stretch your hip flexors. Your hip flexors are the muscles that are in front of the hip, and they're responsible for bringing your knee into your chest, but they also provide the amount of range to stretch your leg behind you. And that's essentially what you're doing when you're doing a split. One leg is in front of you and one leg is directly behind you. And so if that muscle is tight, it really makes it hard to go into that position. So when you do your lunge, be sure to first make sure that your hips are square. So you don't want to have your hips twisted to one side or to the other side. You want your weight to be even on both sides of your hips. And then as you're doing it, press your weight forward through your hip flexors so you can really deepen that stretch. This stretch is also really good if you are looking to get your oversplits because you are elevated off of the ground, and so that gives you more area for your weight to really press you through that split further. Also, when you're in your lunge, make sure that your upper body is upright. A lot of people, when they do a lunge, they use it as an opportunity to relax and they kind of lay over their front knee. But when you do that, you're actually shortening that stretch in the hip flexor. So make sure that you're sitting up tall and that your shoulders are pressed down and that you're really pushing through that hip flexor. So even if you have your splits, but you're just trying to improve them, this is a great stretch to do. It's super easy and it's one of my favorites in terms of helping me improve my splits quicker if I haven't been doing it for a while. The second stretch you can do to improve your splits fast is a laying back leg pull. Now, this is a stretch that I kind of came upon by accident. I was kind of just laying down, moving around, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, we're doing something here. So for this stretch, you want to go on all fours, and then you want to lie on your stomach while bringing one of your knees up under your armpit. And that's really important. You want to bring it up under your armpit. The second leg that is extended, you want to bend that leg behind you and grab it with both of your hands. And so while you're in this position, you're actually getting a double stretch. The first stretch you're going to get is in your quads, and that is because all of your muscles are connected and your quads are connected to your hip flexors. And so oftentimes if you're having some tension or stiffness in one group of muscles, then it could be because there's actually stiffness somewhere else. And so really alleviating that stiffness in your quads, really stretching it out, can help improve the range of motion of that total area of your leg. And the other stretch that you're gonna get is in your hips. Having your knee up under your armpit really helps to open up your hips in general and just give you a bit more range in your hips when you are going in and out of splits. So this stretch is like a double whammy. It's good for both hips at the same time. It gives you 2 different amounts of stretch, 2 different kinds of stretch, and then when you do it on both sides, it's like you fit 4 stretches in instead of just 2. The third stretch that you should probably be doing to improve your splits fast is a leg extension stretch. Now, to go into this stretch, you're going to sit up tall on your knees, and then you're going to extend one of your feet flexed out in front of you. And then you're going to use your opposite arm to grab your toes and pull them toward you. Now, in this stretch, what you're going to feel most is you're going to feel a stretch behind your knees. And this is because if you are having some issues with going into your split, it could be because you're not actually able to straighten your legs and straighten your knees all the way in order to create that line. And if you are having issues with straightening your knees, you're in luck because I do have a video for you. So I will have it linked up top and down below, but it's an entire video on how to straighten the look of your knees. And one of the tips that I really explained in that video is that you want to stretch the muscles that are behind the knee, because the muscles that are behind the knee are what are going to allow your knee to have the range to stretch further and stretch longer. And so if those muscles are tight, it's kind of like it's preventing your leg from stretching as far as it can go. So that just goes back to what I said before about how all of your muscles are connected. The hamstrings connect to the calves, which connect down into the lower calves, which connect to the Achilles, which isn't a muscle, it's a tendon, but you know what I mean. All of those things are connected and really affect what the outcome of your split line looks like. So if you are having some trouble completing that split, really making a nice long line, then try doing the leg extension stretch, because I can almost promise you that part of the issue that you're having has to do with just not stretching enough behind the knee. The fourth stretch you should probably be doing more of if you're looking to improve your splits fast is the Graham fourth stretch. Now this one, I know I say all of them are my favorite, but this one is probably one of my favorite stretches because it stretches so many things at the same time. It stretches your hip flexors, your glutes, your turnout, everything kind of gets a little bit of stretch and elongating in this stretch. So to do the stretch, you want to sit down and have your front leg bent in front of you and your back leg bent behind you. And you want to do it so that you kind of create a Z formation with your legs. When you do this position, just like in the lunge, you want to make sure that your hips are square and they're not too much twisted in one direction or toward the other. And then in this stretch, you should automatically feel that hip flexor stretch in the back leg, just like you felt before in the lunge. Here you also can feel a good glute stretch if you reach your arms forward and kind of lay over the front of your leg. And having the glutes really stretched out again ties into how all of these muscles are connected and work together to create these lines. So just like if you had loose quads helping your hip flexors, you can also have looser glutes that can help your extending muscles, so the muscles that go under your knee, like we talked about before. This stretch is also really great because you're able to sit in it a lot more comfortably than you can if you were just trying to do a split and using your hands to hold you up above the ground. This one, it's a little bit more comfortable. It requires a little less arm work, and so you're able to sit in it more, relax in it more, and kind of feel the positive effects of this stretch without so much effort like you would in a different stretch. So I love this one. This is like pretty much the stretch that I do in every single warm-up I ever do in my life because it is so effective and I love it. I just love this stretch. And my fifth and final stretch that you should be doing to improve your splits fast is a pigeon stretch. And so to do the pigeon stretch, all you have to do is go into that Graham fourth position that we went into before and straighten your back leg. So when your back leg is straight, you're kind of using some different muscles than you would use if it is bent. And so this stretch is a really good way to practice what it feels like to have that leg fully extended without having to go into the full split position. Here you're also going to get that really good hip flexor stretch like we got in the past Graham fourth position and also in the lunge as well. I tend to have pretty tight hip flexors, so one thing that I like to do when I'm in this stretch is I actually like to kind of rotate my hip out so that it is not in a square position and then reposition it back square. And I kind of do that I don't know, maybe like 16 times, just to feel what it feels like to move that position and move the hips around and kind of stretch out that hip flexor in front of the hips. So I love this stretch because there's a little bit more mobility to it, so I can kind of adjust and see, you know, what muscles around there are feeling tight, which ones are feeling loose, so that I can finally settle into a split more comfortably. And that is it, you guys. Those are my 5 stretches that you can do to improve your splits fast. And I hope the thing that you got from this video is that having a good split really takes targeting different muscles in different areas of your legs, in your thighs, and your calves to really come to make that full, complete, beautiful line that is a split. And so I do hope that if you haven't been seeing some positive results in your splits in a while, that maybe incorporating 1 or 2 of these stretches can help you really see some changes by incorporating and using different muscles. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like and share it with a friend, because we all probably have different muscles that we need to work on in different ways. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every single time I have a new upload. I'll see you guys in my next video next weekend. Later.